I think we should get going. Oi, oi. Let's make sure I go to the right thing. I'm on the right thing. Amazing. It's a good start to the stream already. Hey everyone. Welcome to Explore the Beyond. Scales of Destiny. I think we're on episode 14 of season 2. Which is exciting. And hopefully it continues to be as interesting and fun as it has been so far. And everything is all good. Rando, thank you for the 23 months. Appreciate that. It's like 2 whole years nearly. It's pretty wild. Oh, Josh, thank you for your 14 months. Appreciate that. Right. So yeah, sorry about missing last week. Had a sort of very unexpected phone call that kind of dragged me away, and yeah, it wasn't good. But back now, all good, all Gucci, and we're gonna chill, play some D&D. The generic prerequisite warning of me not feeling great today again, so apologies for that. But you know, keep soldiering on. One day the doctors might find out what's causing my constant feeling crap and help. But you know, never mind. Oh well, let's shut me up and bring the players in so that they can talk instead of me. Hello.
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 Hello. Should we play some D&D? I think we should play some D&D.
Yeah.
Rob, let's get going with your very in-depth and detailed review of the session for me.
Okay, if I can get it in the right order, which I've already forgotten. So, we started off on our way to Oakberg via our trusty horse and carriage. And along the way, we stumbled across a few people. One group was a group of fairly suspicious-looking individuals that seemed to be all wearing relatively new clothes, despite the fact that themselves, they didn't really carry themselves in the way they would expect someone to be wearing said clothes. And so we thought they were bandits of some description. So we had a bit of a confrontation with them, verbally that is, no physical violence ensued. But we couldn't quite get the truth out of them. But maybe we scared them enough to make them change their ways. For mentioning about dragons and how we defeated them and all that jazz. But something tells me we haven't seen the last of them. Anyway, as we continued on towards Oakberg, we then arrived. The whole reason for going to Oakberg was to see what's her name again? Starts with a Z. Zalma. There we go. See, I remembered. Yep. And to see if we could use her in our crusade against the dragons. So on our way to finding Zalma at the docks, we stumbled across a chapel, I believe, and decided to have a look around inside. And in the crypt area, basement, we then also stumbled across a group of what looked like adventurers fighting a giant sort of necromantic dragon of some description. And it was a bit confusing to start off with. I nearly accidentally attacked one of the guys because I wasn't paying attention. But after we figured out who was good and who was bad, we then focused on the dragon and came up with a genius idea. You know, he does use his brain every so often to dispel the magic that was surrounding the necromantic dragon. And in doing so, it turned out that all along, this dragon was actually one of the companions of the group that was already there. And once they transformed back into their former self, unfortunately, they passed away. They could not withstand such a transformation. And it was at that point when we realized the group in question contained two very familiar elves that we had previously had contact with and had previously helped us early on in our adventures. So they said to us that they were looking for us, and they had been waylaid by this crypt, and that one of their party members had set off a trap, which was why they turned into that dragon. So after that was all done and dusted, they buried their former colleague, and we then moved off to find Zelma. And then in doing so, well, we found her, and we bargained with her in terms of trying to convince her to join our cause. And in the end, Aqua was successful in turning her opinion of us somewhat positive, more neutral, I think, now than negative. But yeah, so now Zelma is on our side somewhat, not against us actively, and will help against Yosoa. I think after that we decided to have a look around Oakburg to see if we could help sort of add a bit of order to try and re-establish the place as a potential stronghold. And in doing so, found various people who needed our help, but Sköld found his brother who was looking for him, and had found out from one of our connections that we were in Oakburg. And in a conversation to Svard, Sköld, Svard mentioned that he wanted to go back to Karazgard and he wanted to re-establish the island, get it back to the way it was before this all began, and to kind of take it back from Yosoa, as is always the grand plan. But felt like there needed to be more active sort of activities to do that. And so Sköld agreed, and that's kind of where we are now. We kind of reconvened outside of Oakburg, I think it is, at this sort of check to discuss where we're going to go next, which I believe is Karazgard.
I believe so, yes. That is the plan. As far as I am aware, we are just in the process of waiting a little bit longer for Zelma to arrive.
No, that was Zelma. The ship, right?
Thought it was our ship.
Our ship. Yeah.
Our ship, right. Your ship. Cool. The Navigated. As you so brilliantly called it. Okay, so in that case, we're waiting a little bit longer for the Navigated to arrive with your captain, whose name I remember, but can you remember? Nope. His name is Ermengarde.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, oh definitely remember him. Yeah. So you've been sort of going around the city collecting up as many refugees as you can. You found a few in your first few days who have either just recently entered the city or were already in the city and looking fairly emaciated and unfed. And that is kind of been the focus of your group and the elves in the last few days, is just kind of helping them and get them sort of recovered and set up so that if nothing else they can start settling the city again. Time passes, a few days pass, and eventually you see sails in the distance and your ship arrives in the harbour, and you'll be pleased to hear, I'm sure you will be pleased to hear, that I do actually have that map available, but I just forgot to put it in into the thing. So bear with me while I look for it. Aha! One or that one? No, this one. Yes. So we can have the map we had last time, just not on fire, which is very impressive. Just gotta wait for it to load in properly. We done? Oh dear. The problem with these maps is there's loads to sort of download and install for it. Well, not install, but just download. It takes a little minute. But you've been kind of going back and forward to the dock, sort of checking every day to see if the ship arrives. As far as you're aware, none of the crew and Ermengarde himself don't have any way of contacting you. So it is just literally wait and see and hope for the best. You could always message him and just say, you know, how far out are you, this, that, and the other, which is perfectly reasonable.
I think we did that last time.
Mm-hmm. Which is how you knew he was a couple of days away.
Yeah, he said he was about 2 days away. He wasn't very happy with us diverting him to Oldberg, but yeah.
It was very much a, you're lucky that I haven't passed Oldberg already.
Yeah.
Because by ship it's like a day from Oldberg to Oldencliff. But whereas by land it takes a week because you have to literally divert all the way around. Right. Where did I just put the lid? There. Oh my god. How do I function as a human being? Let's just
Barely.
bet. I don't even think I function that much. Boop. Not that. That. This and this. Along with... Nope. You. Hooray! So then I do this. And look. We made it.
It's the ducks.
It's the ducks and there's no fire.
On fire.
It's very loud though.
People have started coming back.
It's mostly just the birds, but we don't need the ambient sound for now.
Only the birds have come back.
Only the birds. As Ermengarde disembarks and meets you on the dock, he greets you and gives you an appraising look. There's definite still signs of this place just being an utter desolation, and he seems skeptical that for like why you'd be here. And well, it's good to see you, I suppose. Why are you here?
Well, first of all, at least you're alive, which is good. How was the travels here? Did you run into any problems?
Surprisingly few. We were expecting a more issue, but alas, we actually came out of it quite unharmed.
Glad to hear. Well, we've come to Oakburg just to, in general, check out the situation, help with some repairing. There wasn't much repairing, but just making sure that we could get anyone to safety who needed help. And yeah, we needed you here because we're going to Sköld. Which I don't know if we told you or not, but that is our next destination.
Did not tell me that. Here's the ship, by the way.
Travel on land.
That's why it costs so much money. You didn't mention Sköld or Kirdaral or anything like that to me. Why in all good consciousness are you going there?
To hopefully defeat the dragon. Someone has to.
Why'd you have to use me and the ship and endanger the crew?
You'll be
Surely.
fine. We pay you. We pay the ship. It's gonna be fine. I'm sure there's some life insurance we can talk about.
Yeah, fantastic. I'll make great use of that when I'm dead. Fine. When do you want to leave?
I look around to the rest of them. Pretty soon, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, if the ship doesn't need stocking or repairing, we can go right now.
We don't need repairs, but we definitely don't have enough food to make it to Karasgard in one trip. So we might still have to go to Aldencliff and just restock, but that shouldn't take long. Just put us a day out. We'll be there in a week. Is that suitable?
I look at the rest of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Can't expect much more.
This is what it is.
Fantastic. I can't wait. Very well. Climb aboard. We will sail to Aldencliff as we originally planned, and then make our way to Kirdaral or Karasgard or wherever it is you wish to go. Oh joy.
First time.
Perfect.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. Where's me? There's me. Oh, I come with me.
Okay. The four of you embark, and Ermengrout deftly reverses the ship out of the port, and you all head off to Aldencliff. It takes about a day. There's decent winds. You're not slowed down at all, and you do manage to make it in fairly good time, considering. And basically, Ermengrout just kind of tells you, stay aboard. The crew will go restock. Be back in a few hours, and we can just be straight off. Using the combined funds of the ship, they have done a bit of trading here when they can. In the past, they do have a few funds available to them. They stock up for enough food for a few weeks. Not expecting to be able to really stock up on much in Karasgard at all, due to the state the place is probably in. And eventually you start sailing away. For the first day or so, there isn't that much in the way of issue. It's a fairly easy trip. The third day is where we rejoin the group.
Can I before we continue there, can I quickly have one quick interjection?
You can quickly have one quick one, yes?
Okay. We have Sköld's brother with us, yeah?
Yes, Svard.
Sköld, what did you tell us about going to Kirdaral and about bringing your brother along? Because I think the last session we didn't know that he was there. You just ended on maybe you brought him to the camp, but I don't think there was ever a discussion of bringing him along to
Yeah, so
Kirdaral.
brought him to camp, as you said, and bringing him to Kirdaral. Because that was, I think that's what we kind of ended on in terms of that was the plan that we all came up with. And the reason why we're going is because just more down to that it's our homeland and everything like that. We want to actually do something to kind of bring it back to its former glory. So the primary thing. Didn't want to stay around doing bits and bob at Compass. But, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Right. So kind of having squared things away, all of you are pretty much on the same page. or at least or at least on the same page enough where things shouldn't be an issue. You are now about 3 days into your travel. The weather takes a huge turn. Aqua, roll a d12 for me, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The rain starts just pouring, just absolutely belting down, to the point where it actually is quite painful to be out in the open and just sort of be hit by this rain. Like, it's so strong and has such a... It feels like little pebbles just being flung down. It's not actually hail, it is water, but when it impacts on your body, it physically hurts and just seems to drench through you. Even for you, like, you are feeling uncomfortable in this sort of environment. And this goes on for a few hours. The crew, who are just kind of coming about and making sure that everything, all the rigging and stuff is still secure, are grumbling and groaning, and like some of them are actually taking minor bruises and injuries from just the sheer force of the rain coming down. The water itself, like the surface of the water, is still completely smooth. It's not like a thunderstorm or anything that is like an atmospheric thing. It is literally just a heavy rain. Roll a nature check for me, Aqua.
Okay.
Nice. You've heard of this kind of phenomenon happening? Your time aboard the Windsinger has led you to hear stories. You've never experienced it yourself, but you've heard stories of like rain that is so strong it has been known to knock people out, and in some cases it gets so bad that it physically, literally breaks bones. And there's no sort of explanation for it, because it's just so random. It happens all over the world, but only sort of in the middle of oceans, in areas that are far from land, and never sort of in the same sort of places. It always varies. There's no kind of consistency to it. Are any of you staying outside while this happens?
Well,
no.
depends what Aqua tells us, because my first instinct would be to check out whether it's magical or not, or whether this is...
I would tell them that I know about the rain, and that if anyone feels like it's too much, to get inside.
I have done. I don't like boats at the best of
And
times.
I would check it out first, though. I would first check if I see any anomaly, whether I can figure out whether it's magical or whether this is maybe... Because, so my thinking is, I'm worried and I'm keeping an eye for the dragon knowing that we're coming, right?
Okay.
Trying to stop us. So that would be my worry, and I would be worried whether this was some sort of effect that some magical being, whether it's the dragon or some lackey working for the dragon, is conjuring upon us to stop us.
Roll an Arcana check for me.
Arcana. Me.
You get no real magical feeling from this. This feels natural.
Okay.
And even with such a low roll, there doesn't feel like there's anything you could potentially do about this. Or more specifically, intuit from this. It just feels like a naturally occurring phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably stay outside using my shield as like cover, an umbrella, such.
I'm
Okay.
staying outside using Vic as a shield.
Can I also say for the last few days I've been, because remember when we went on the raft, I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to rune the raft we had. I'll see if I could have runed the ship to be more sturdy.
Okay. Roll me an Arcana check, but use your. That's the right tab. You roll me an Arcana check, but basically just roll a d20 plus expertise, so plus 10.
I'll do that.
17. Okay. You've practice makes perfect, and when you did it on the raft, you managed to sturdify, like make it much sturdier and resistant. This time, you feel like you haven't affected the whole ship, but the rune that you managed to craft, if I can get the right thing, basically would cover either the front or the back half, depending on where you want it.
Probably would have done. Probably the front.
Yeah?
You crash frontwards, didn't you?
Yeah. So there's sort of like you feel like there's a bit of a force field. Look at my, that's not even what I meant to do. My excellent shape drawing skills. There's something of a force field surrounding the whole front half of the ship that you think would give it a bit of a buff against any collisions in, like, at the front of the craft.
Okay.
And there doesn't seem to be any need for concentration on this. It just seems to work. And feels good.
Okay. Well, for the rest of the journey after like the rain stops, I'd probably try to do the rest of the ship as well if I can. But
Okay,
that'd be for in the future.
that's fine. Sköld, you're staying underground. Aqua, if you're staying out in the open, and not sort of getting undercover specifically, roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
Well, I was going to do something, but I was trying to work it out to make sure I wasn't reading it completely wrong. And that was, I was going to, above the ship, use Wall of Force.
You wouldn't be able to do that.
Why not?
That's not what I want to do. I'm still not used to this whole having the thing pop out.
Because it says it can be free floating.
Probably wouldn't travel with the ship though. I'm not sure if it's been in place.
That's what I've been trying to find out.
Yeah.
Well, if you can move it,
I mean,
would stay in this box.
it does say 10 by 10 foot by 10 by 10 foot panels.
Yeah, target a 100 feet wall.
Each panel must be
That's what it's telling me.
contiguous with another panel. Conform at war. Last for the duration. It doesn't say it moves, and I would imagine it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Purely
And
because
if you're able to move something, it always says in the spell.
Yeah,
that you can use an action
it
to move
usually
something.
does. Because I think you can. Because I don't think you can move any of the walls. I think the point of them is that they're static.
That's fine then.
But I didn't realise that Wall of Force was free floating because the others have to be on the surface.
Yeah, it's the only one that is free floating.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. It was a good idea.
It's alright. Yeah, I'll stay out in the rain as long as I can.
Cool. Just Constitution saving throw for me, please. (24) And you managed to resist most of the damage. You're taking a few minor bruises, which are probably more sore than you would expect just because you're so recently recovered from quite an intense injury anyway. But you are resisting most of the injuries, and as such are pretty much okay through this. You're doing all right.
Nice.
So you're kind of there just taking these like pounding hits from the rain, and Ermengrout is kind of looking over at you, just like watching you brush them off like they're no big deal. And he's taken a few hits himself. He's, you know, he doesn't look like he's going to be really badly injured, but you can see a black eye forming after about an hour and a half of this, and he's kind of laboring on his left side. He seems to have taken a sort of fairly hefty shot to his side or to his sort of shoulder or something. You're not quite sure, but he's trying to hide it just because you're doing such a good job of looking like it's not bothering you. Vic and Nell, not Nell, oh my god, Vic and Bryn, sorry, the two of you under Vic's shield are basically okay. It sounds awful. It sounds like wearing a metal colander out in the rain, but other than that, you're fine.
Do I notice that Ermengrout is getting injured slightly?
If you're looking at him, yeah.
I would. I mean, over the course of however long we're standing there, I would definitely. Yeah. I would just shout to him once. You're doing fine, Captain. And just heal him a little bit.
Okay. He seems to appreciate it. He does look like he's sort of struggling.
Do you have anything else that could support him? So he just... No. No, it's just as a new spell, okay. Nah, he's fine. He's fine.
He's fine. He's totally fine. He's fine. Cool. The rain goes on for a good 3 hours in total. And then almost as soon as it started, it just stops. There's like a few lingering drops of rain. And then it just almost immediately stops and the sun starts coming out. I can't remember how to get rid of the rain. I think it's this one. It's been a long time since I've used this. No, it's not that apparently. Okay, well. Just imagine the rain's not there. Use your imaginations. Yeah, so about 3 hours pass, and you just come out into bright sunshine with quite a lot of heat. It's sort of the end of the summer going into autumn, or sort of maybe it is already autumn. It's kind of hard to tell, but you've still got that lingering heat that just suddenly starts becoming really oppressive. And the crew, who have just gone through a battering of rain, are now kind of being drained by heat. And such a sort of sharp change in temperature is quite a lot to deal with. And the crew aren't having a great time. Ermengrout, sort of recovering from a few of his bruises, does come along and just kind of gives them a talking to, just like, come on, you've been through worse, this is fine. And is just sort of dotting him, like walking around the ship while Aqua sort of does a bit of the navigating to begin with. And eventually that day ends. The rest of the travel actually goes remarkably smoothly, unless there's anything else you want to do.
No, I'd try to do the back of the ship, but otherwise, no.
Okay, roll the same thing again for me.
The whole travel or just the day?
The whole journey.
Okay, I do want to do something after the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll do the same again then.
Same roll. This time far more successful. While the front of the boat is still warded quite well, the second one seems to be more focused on the back anyway, but just seems even stronger. Like you're refining the process each time you do it to A, be quicker, B, be more effective, and C, just kind of, you know, if nothing else, it's practice. So the back is now also sort of protected. What did you want to do, Bryn?
I do want to, at any point in the journey, want to sit down with Sköld's brother, with Swat, and just chat to him. I want to see. This sounds rude, but I don't mean it in a rude way. What his deal is, just chat to him, have a chance to talk to him.
Okay. Are you going to do this sort of on the deck in front of everyone, or take him away to a sort of...
No. It's not a. Oh, I'm going to. Let's have a talk. Interrogation. It's just at any point when we're on the deck together. I'm having a look around, just making sure nothing is attacking us or something. I just want to have a chat and see how he's doing, and also, I don't know if it's just the player in me or if it's. I'm trying to not project it too much to the character, but just making sure we don't get infiltrated from the inside, because suddenly Gold's brother is back. So I just want to chat to him and ask him how he's doing, why he's coming with us to Karisgard, that sort of chat.
He's more than happy to talk with you when you come over and just sort of start speaking to him. He seems fairly open. Do you have like a specific question, or is it just like open questions about him and Sköld and that sort of thing?
Open questions at the beginning, and then if I notice that he's being okay to talk to me, because I'm a dwarf as well, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll ask him about his family and his upbringing, and his and Sköld's upbringing, and the town they're from.
Okay. He seems like I said, he's very open. When you start asking about him and Sköld and their upbringing, he seems a little bit apprehensive. But when he starts talking about himself more than Sköld, well, I was always more of the academic type. Sköld was more of the worshipping type, and I respected that. But I went into different apprenticeships to him, and I made sure that I was always working hard. I eventually did. I worked at a forge for a while and became quite proficient at making armor and weapons, and then I went into various universities and started studying ways to make things more interesting. I was always bored by the usual monotony of creating armor just for every random who came into with a bit of money. I wanted to make things that were special, and that's where my focuses lay. Sköld was always more focused on his worship to Vulcan, and that was absolutely fine. We just had different interests. But I always made sure that I kept up on him, kept checking in with him, making sure that he was okay. Then I got posted out away. I was up in Camblesia for a while, and he was going to come and visit me, but events happened. I ended up back in Karisgard. Barely escaped the re-emergence, to be honest. And
how did you escape?
Mostly sheer dumb luck. Something I was working on at the time happened to save my life. The town I was in was almost completely enveloped in lava. And if I hadn't... I put faith in it. Let's put it that way. I was in Voltaire, north of Kirdaral. We weren't far away from each other, from what I'm told.
I wasn't there.
Oh. Well, fair enough. The creation I made was quite impressive. I'm quite proud of it. I'm hoping to replicate it in the near future and start mass producing it, at least somehow. But it was just a sort of a ball, almost an orb that was infused with a bit of magic, but also had gears and all sorts of warding on it that would essentially protect the wearer or holder of it from all harm for a certain amount of time. I didn't quite know how long it would last, and that's where most of my luck comes in. Like, I was given about 10 minutes of almost invulnerability, and I was basically engulfed in the lava flow for 2 or 3 of those minutes. I managed to get clear. The way Voltaire is made, it actually descends downwards. So, me being on one of the lower levels, I managed to climb up and get into one of the lifts that they have that takes you from the lower levels directly to the top. But many of my friends and a few of my colleagues didn't make it. Like I said, I'm lucky. And my creation, I hope, is something I can replicate to then help others.
Why are you going back now?
Because it's been long enough. We need to reclaim my home. And something this whole ordeal has taught me is that family is more important than a lot of things. And I wish to re-establish a life with the family I have left.
What if you die? What if you
Then
go back and the dragon has just desolated everything and you've walked literally into a trap and literally into a death zone and won't make it out of it?
I'll do what I can to make sure that as many people survive and make it out as possible before I go.
Okay. I suppose that's all any of us can do. Try and help anyone out who's still there, who still survived.
Exactly.
Okay.
If my brother decides to come with me, then I will be very happy. I'm sure he will grieve for losing his time with you, but he will also rejoice at how much time he was able to spend with you. And I will be sad that I took him from this. But he is an independent person. He is able to make his own decisions. If he decides that he wants to come with me for a while and return to you, that's up to him. If he decides to not come with me at all, that's also his choice. I won't force him into anything.
I wouldn't either. I would be sad to see him go, but on the other hand, maybe you can. This sounds crass, but maybe it can be useful. Maybe for us it can be useful. We can still, I can't, but the other two hopefully can still talk to him. I can, magically as well. So, the information sharing is good if you are going to do whatever you want to do, or you have to do, and we go and figure out what's going on.
Exactly. We will work something out, I'm sure. But that's my motivation. I'm here to at least travel with my brother again before we go off on our own path. If I am able to bring him with me on my quest to start rebuilding and reclaim our home, then I will make the most of my time with him.
Good. Good. I'll just, after a while, I'll just walk away. I've got what I wanted.
Cool. Anything else anyone wants to do?
I'm good.
Okay. Cool. Eventually... you didn't necessarily decide on where you're going in Karasgard. Are you going to a specific city, or are you going to try and land in sort of like on the coast and sort of sneak in?
Yeah,
Well,
it'd be best to do that.
why don't we trying to find out where Rukin and the other person was? Maybe Bring could send a message to see if they know where they are. That could determine where we land.
I
Unless they're
did
just
send a
waiting.
message before, didn't I? And
Yeah.
he was like, he needs help.
Yeah, so if you could message them again, maybe, and just to see, because if it's like, it could save us many days if we go in the right direction, maybe.
Yeah. I would not do this shortly before we land dock, though. I would do this maybe a day beforehand when we're still out on the sea,
Mm-hmm.
because neither Yathina nor Bryn probably know this, but I don't know if there's detection magic that would be able to pinpoint where spell comes from. And I'd rather still have a little bit of a buffer between us arriving and them knowing that we're coming. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I would probably do this a day before we know that we're docking, and I would send a message to Rukin. Wait, I need to actually send a message. Although we've had days between this, so it's good. I can get them back in a second. Navigators here. Where are you? We're coming to help you, but we need to know where we are going. 19. Bye.
Okay. The reply you get back seems almost like very calm. Hold on, let me find the map I was looking at. Need to actually... Which one is it? This one? Nope. I had the map, I was looking at it, and I'd closed it, because that's really stupid of me. Last I knew, we were up in the north, in one of the last strongholds. I think I'm still there. Voltaria. Voltaria.
I relay that message to the rest of them. I don't reply anything back. The north.
Here.
Would it make sense to go there then? If it's a stronghold and if there's, resistances there and there's people there.
It'd be worth taking out.
It's an island, isn't it? Oh, excuse me, sorry. It's an island, isn't it? It's not connected to the mainland.
Yeah, this explains why it's still somewhat functional.
Yeah. Everyone in favor of going there?
I
Need as many people as we can, so if we can meet up with Rudkin and was it the Valkyrie that was with him?
Yeah. One of the Valkyries.
Which one we
Ambrin.
going to, sorry?
Sorry.
Which one we going to, sorry?
The North, Voltaire, Voltaire? Yeah.
Voltaria.
Voltaria. It's an island, and Rukun is there. The northwest. Yes.
Okay, yeah, because she lived just north of Lindhof, above that river mouth. Oh, so it makes sense. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Then I would probably, or one of us, maybe someone who's more intimidating than me. So there's little back talk. Would probably tell the captain that we're heading northwest. Oh well, we would not head northwest. We would head northeast, but to Voltaria.
I would happily go up to the captain and tell him we're heading to.
I said someone who's more intimidating than me.
I was about to say, intimidation isn't your strategy,
No,
but
it's all good.
charisma.
I was going to do captain to captain.
Oh, fair.
Bold of you to presume the title of captain here.
Hey, once you get that title, you don't lose it. Just because it was a raft.
When did you ever? I was going to say, when did you ever have that title?
On the raft.
I don't know if you can.
He gave it himself. Shh.
Sure. Okay. Is it? Are you going to go speak to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go up to him and say, we have our destination. We are going to Voltaire.
Voltaria.
Voltaire. Voltaire.
Voltaire. Okay, fine.
I wrote it. It's there. Look, read it.
I can't.
So we're going to Volt.
Go to the vault.
Okay.
That was easy.
Captain.
All right. I guess we'll divert that way. It shouldn't take us any longer. Cool. At least might be somewhat safe there.
That's a good sign that you've heard of it.
We'll see. We'll see. Are you sure we're not going to just be absolutely destroyed when we get there?
No.
Fantastic.
We
Well,
took on the wind's fit downward ship. We'll be all right.
okay, if you say so. Off
Where
we
is
go.
the wind singer?
Zelma still has it.
Yeah.
She ahead of us.
Her quest was to pick up people from the island and bring them back to safety.
Yeah, you don't actually know where she is or if she's even doing it, but she did say she was going to. So it's
Hey, she's leaving us alone while we're doing this. So
true.
count our blessings.
True. Yeah, so she's off doing that potentially, so we'll see. The diversion literally doesn't really take any time. The way the islands work, you were basically heading in that direction anyway. You'd have had to have diverted south or north, so it's not a problem. And yeah, after a little bit of time, you will find yourselves dropped off here. Ermengrout stays on the ship. You are granted a boat to row to the row to the shore on, and you find yourself on a really rocky, outcropped island. Seems relatively untouched by the eruption, obviously, but still seems fairly desolate.
Okay.
Well, so far so good. No dragons, no sea dragons, no sky dragons.
Well, we weren't immediately incinerated, so that's definitely a good sign.
And Sköld, does you or your brother know where we're going?
Well, I haven't been around here much, but know roughly the lay of the land, if you know what I mean, just the general geography. So, suppose we could just move inland and then find if there's any infrastructure left.
Yeah, it should be pretty easy to find the stronghold.
It's more of a like the place. The Voltaria itself is a sort of relatively big city, so it would have potentially have been meant more as a that is like they're using the city as a stronghold, not like a small keep stronghold type thing. So you're looking for it'll be easier because you're actually looking for a city, not a sort of off the track thing. Does that make sense?
There'll be roads and
Yeah.
stuff, then, wouldn't there? So,
In theory, yes.
well, let's go then.
Let's
Imagine there'll be no traps or anything. Just we randomly landed somewhere.
I mean, if it's a stronghold, though, and they know about this sort of, thing, they still might be trapping the shit out of it to make sure that they are alerted that someone's coming. Well, hopefully Rukin will have told them that we're coming.
Not from this angle. I don't know. There's no need for them to come from this angle, I guess, if they're going to attack. But
Yeah.
let's see. But maybe.
Nah, we'll use Sköld's head. He's great at breaking into prisons.
That's a callback.
As you are traveling down the road, it's fairly uneven going. This isn't necessarily like a well-trodden path. However, it's also not entirely untraveled. There seems to be a sort of semi-used, but not necessarily for. It seems a bit like this could probably be like a smuggler's cove path, where smugglers would come down and get things into ships. For some reason, the name of such a thing is escaping me completely. I apologize. I'm just like, yes, of course. What's it called?
Is it an alcove? No.
Not like an alcove. This would just be sort of an off the beaten track kind of path,
Mm.
After maybe, I don't know why that's happening. After about 3 hours of walking, the path starts climbing very steeply upwards and turns into a switchback. And you climb this 100 feet or so of cliff that you've been sort of walking between. And as you do, you are greeted beneath you to the sight of a city in the distance that is seemingly still inhabited. You can see smoke rising from chimneys and lights, like windows lit up. It's a fairly big city, nothing compared to Kirdaral or to even Oakberg or Aldencliff, but somewhere on the smaller side of a city. You can also see that there are walls, maybe 60 foot tall, you would imagine. However, outside those walls is just 3 different camps, all inhabited by hundreds to thousands of creatures that Make perception checks for me, actually, everyone. Well, I'm glad you all have decent modifiers. Bryn and Vic and Sköld, you can kind of put two and two together. You can see that this seems to be part of the army for the Unholy Alliance that you've heard tell of. You can see the three distinct camps. You've got one that's very ordered and literally like all the tents are in straight lines. There are sections made up specifically for gathering and eating and stuff like that. This would potentially be the Durgar camp. In the middle, there's an absolute hodgepodge, mishmash type camp that the tents are really small. Everything is really compact. And this seems to just be kind of people have chosen a spot to put their tent and then that's where they stay. There doesn't seem to be any order or reason behind it whatsoever. And that would potentially be the Sverfneblin camp. And to the right, the far side, away from where you are now, there's the somewhere in between where there does seem to be a hodgepodge. People have just chosen a spot, but around that they've built into a pretty interesting looking sort of helix type design of tents all surrounded by this one bigger tent that seems to be a combination of like mess hall but also command center, and that would be the Drow camp. You can't the city seems to be under siege but really passive. There's no artillery firing at the walls. It is just sort of a siege of attrition more than anything.
How many like enemies would we say? I guess.
It's a
Close to
guess.
1,000.
Probably more than 1,000.
Probably slightly unfavourable odds then.
Unfavourable odds, but it would depend on your approach.
Well, would I notice them once the group has pointed them out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like you know that the camp is there. You can see it. You just can't. You just weren't able to distinguish who was who. This is the new Svard, by the way. I've given him an extra character sheet. Like you can see the camp. You just have trouble distinguishing which camp is which until it's kind of pointed out in a very obvious way for you. The details of it are a bit sketchy. You're not really sure what's what.
Just to jog my memory, the Unholy Alliance was against us and working for the dragon, correct?
You would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I
No
think
chance of
I
us
have a plan
going-
that might distract them.
Okay.
How far are we away from them? Like, we are really far distance, or?
No, a few miles maybe.
Okay. How about we get to in range, and then, Bryn, if you could message one of the leaders or one of the people that look important and try and tell them that Asoa has confirmed that Drow are plotting to overtake them so they can be her #1 army. And hopefully we can cause deceit in all of them to fight each other.
I hate it. I hate it. It's so insecure. We don't know if that will work, and if it doesn't, they could turn on us.
Okay, we can say it's plan B. Just normally, when people are corrupt, because I assume it's like being on a ship in an army, everyone is always talking behind everyone's back, wanting
You're
the
not
extra
wrong.
gold.
You're not wrong. And everyone is probably, making sure. You're not wrong. Sköld, did you have an idea?
Well, I was thinking, we ain't gonna be able to take them on directly. If you got 1,000 people, I think even those odds are a bit too much for us. So, there's two options. Either try and deceive them via Aqua's method, which, to be honest, you'd need to mimic someone of high command to convince them. So unless we know someone of that sort of status, I don't think they're gonna believe a voice in their head. The other way is if we go in via disguise. However, once we get past them, or around them, how do we even get in? If they haven't got in, then chances are we're not going to be able to either.
Well, this is Dwarven land, isn't it? Won't there be underground tunnels again, like we did previously?
I think they probably would have been destroyed to prevent any ingress.
Do we see guards patrolling around?
If you're looking for them, you see the Dwarven Duergar have a very set schedule. They have guards patrolling, and you basically have about 30 seconds of an area being unwatched, as 15 or 20 of the guards are just circling the perimeter. Sverfneblin seem to be a bit more chaotic. If they have guards, they're hidden away. You cannot see them. There doesn't seem to be any guards whatsoever. Excuse me. And the drow themselves are keeping guard, but they're in stationed spots around the camp.
Okay.
We could just try to contact Rukin again and see if there's any secret ways in. That maybe we don't have to go past the army and go around some other way.
But Rukin said he's in some sort of last stronghold. So are these armies surrounding the stronghold and just having a standoff with them?
That's what it seems to be.
Or we could find a place where it's a little less populated, if you will, and fly over the wall.
You know what? We could. I just feel like I don't. The problem with Aqua's plan is I don't hate it. Well, I do, but also I think it's a good plan. But the problem is it will draw a lot of attention, not necessarily on us, just in general, right? And if it goes south, it will go south hardcore.
Well, there's no reason why we can't try. I like the idea of doing it, but we could, if we manage to get in safely, why don't we just do it then and to see if it works anyway?
Yeah.
It doesn't work when we're in there. It doesn't really matter.
Sköld, you are a cleric who can change his spells every single day. Do you have a disguise spell that you could have put on today?
Well, not my forte, but let me have a look. I'm sure I got something somewhere that could.
Think of one.
I mean, would they... What's the airspace like? Is it clear? We've seen no, like, smaller dragons flying around?
You don't see anything.
Okay. I was thinking maybe summoning my dragon and flying overhead. They might just think it's a dragon joining the Soa's cause. We're up high enough.
Can you make your dragon look however you want to?
You can choose to make it a
believe
metallic dragon.
so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But would the Drow and the Swerve-Neblin and the Duergar know that a metallic dragon is necessarily a dragon that would be in a suicide? Can we just
Depends on how much they've been briefed.
can we put dirt on it so it isn't as shiny?
I think the question you're
No,
asking
can't
is,
say
can you
Beatrice.
cast like seeming or disguise self or something on a dragon that has been summoned?
Yes. Can we?
I don't know. I haven't. I said that. I don't actually know what the answer is.
I don't have those spells available, so I don't know.
No.
Well, disguise self you can't because disguise self is just disguise self.
Obviously, that makes sense.
Does anyone? Aqua, do you have polymorph?
No.
Fuck.
I have. No, that wouldn't work either. Can't greater
What level?
invisible it.
What level's true polymorph for
9.
like an 8? Is it a 9?
Yeah.
I
think
plan on
that's
getting
it.
that
I
one.
was gonna say I think that's a bit out of your depth.
Mm.
All right.
You've got 7s now, right?
7's my highest, yeah.
Well, I can make all of us fly. That's a thing I can contribute. I can also.
How long does the fly last?
An hour.
10. That's now that one.
Okay. That one's an hour, okay.
No,
What?
no,
No.
it doesn't.
No, it's not. You're right.
Oh, is it the potions that are an hour?
It's 10 minutes,
The
isn't it?
potions, yeah, 10 minutes. The fly lasts 10 minutes.
I'll do.
I can
see
also-
my dragon lasts an hour.
Dimension door one person. Well, maybe two.
If you
Maybe we can
upcast it to
dimension
level
door
6, you can do 4. I think.
Dimension door.
I think so.
No. Really? I didn't know it was an upcast for Dimension Door.
I don't think it's an upcast. It
No, you
doesn't
can't.
say.
Oh well,
Shame.
I tried.
So right? So the siege, is it completely surrounding the
So
city, or
that's a good question because I didn't describe this. The city itself is kind of built into it's basically yes, because the way it's sort of the siege itself as a raid blocks off any exit into the main roads behind it. You're kind of let me see if I can kind of like you can't actually see. Okay, so if you scroll back to the water on the map, it's like if I bring it all over here, so then you can see what I'm doing, and then zoom out. If I do this, stream can see. The city itself would be this circle, right? And then behind it, there's a cliff that kind of descends into it's basically like got a cliff behind it in like a half moon shape, to put it very simply, but it starts and stops either side, and then the siege itself is sort of taking up this space here.
That explains why they're struggling to get in so much. It's defended one side already.
it's like Minas Tirith? Minas Tirith.
A little bit like Minas Tirith, yeah. It's got behind it. It's basically got this. It's not a mountain, but it is just a sort of. There's got to be a word for it, but I don't know how to describe it to Google it.
And that goes down into water, does it?
Behind it, you're not
Sea.
sure. You can't quite see. You don't. It doesn't seem like it would have the sea behind it. But it's essentially like this, right? So the city is completely surrounded and cut off.
Does any one of you magical people have the spell invisibility?
I do, but it doesn't. Only lasts a minute.
Oh, yeah, but that's great invisibility. Do you have the normal invisibility spell?
No.
Fine, then my plan goes out of the window because I would have said I just make someone fly, or I make all of us fly, and you just cast invisibility on everyone. But that's not happening.
If we can get around the back somehow, we can fly up the cliff, the city. But we just
Abseil down.
Svard chips in. I do have a ring that can polymorph myself. I'm not sure if this is helpful, but I can contribute that maybe.
I think that'd fit on the dragon's toe.
Just him.
The problem is the dragon would have to attune to the ring, and by the time... Oh no, is it 8 hours you'll summon Draconic Spirit?
No, it's an hour.
Oh, so by the time it's attuned... by the time it's attuned, it would be done. It would be gone. Don't cast the spell.
Oh.
Ugh.
How, into what can you polymorph yourself?
That's
Into...
one of the things I was trying to find out when I clicked it. I didn't actually mean to pop it up, but then I thought I may as well interject now. Let me see if I can come up with an
Wait,
answer
you
to
couldn't
this.
take it off anyway. Once attuned, this ring cannot be removed by anything short of a wish spell.
He didn't mention that he wanted to remove it. He was wondering if he can help. That's not what I wanted. Blimey.
back in 30 seconds.
No worries. No worries. No worries. Is that a homebrew item that I've got on him? Quite possibly.
Comes a T-Rex. Well, that's not useful.
While wearing it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges to cast the polymorph spell from it, but only to be target yourself. Doesn't say at what level. Which is interesting.
Yeah, that's probably very homebrew. Well, can we just say he could polymorph into a dragon?
What's havoc?
No, because that's just like, oh, can we just say that he can polymorph into something really powerful, regardless of whether he actually can or not?
Well, it's your character.
True.
Make him polymorph into, like, I don't know, something that can dig tunnels and we can build a massive tunnel under.
Oh, a giant mole.
Iron.
Yeah, he can dig out a giant pit under the armies and just make ground fall under them.
Or a giant dune worm.
We can be worm riders. Is that the term? I've not watched
I
the
don't
movies.
know. I have watched the first one, but it's been quite a long time ago. Let's just fly.
Hang on. Hang on. I'm trying to
It's all right.
remember what polymorph actually does. Because you know when you kind of have something in your head and you're just like, oh yeah, that's definitely how it works. I can't remember.
I'd love it for him to be like, yeah, I'll turn into this dragon. Turns into a sheep.
Like a minute, isn't it? Something polymorph.
An hour.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The challenge rating is equal to or less than the target's or the target's level if it doesn't have a challenge rating. Perfect. Okay, that's what I needed to know. In that case, we go to this button, we go to this button, and then we go to challenge rating 12. And
Something big that can fly then.
something that can fly. That's what I'm thinking.
A dragon.
Ooh. Like challenge rating 12. Don't even know if a young dragon. Be 12.
Okay. Are you set on dragons?
Well, I would, in my opinion, if we had some sort of red dragon or any sort of chromatic dragon that isn't a metallic dragon, obviously, we could just play it off as being, you know, if they don't spot us on top of the dragon, we could just play it off as this dragon is patrolling, flying in to support a Soa. If they do spot us, we're messengers riding in on the dragon.
Right, but we fly into the city and then they see us flying down.
No,
and they
we
track
will let Rukin know that we're coming on a dragon who isn't actually a dragon, but it's more about pooling the
Armies.
armies, the Unholy Alliance.
Yes, so but if we can fly something, we can fly out, down, behind, and then up and over, and the army probably won't even see us.
Can we fly round?
Well, it goes down. It's like it's at the top of a kind of like a cliff goes down behind it.
Yeah.
If we got
So
an
we-
hour of flight, we can fly around it,
Yeah, let's do
like
that
off
then.
around the side, like a mile away from the army or more.
Yeah.
Low, then up, and then down.
Yeah, that sounds much more reasonable from the big huge fighter boy.
Wow. That sounds
Well.
a bit catty.
Well, I
Yeah.
considered just walking in there at first, but I thought 1,000 was slightly too many.
I just wanted to see armies fight. I mean, I had a great plan.
You still can. You still can. I think it'd be quite funny to see if they do that, because we're still gonna have to break the siege, though, aren't we? Probably.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, and it's easier taking on one army that's broken than 3 armies that's not.
Yeah. Plus, who knows how many people are inside? If we do enough damage to them somehow, then you could. I mean, don't know how far away you can cast Tidal Wave. Just keep Tidal Wave. And
It's not got that much distance, I don't think.
Unfortunately, you can't polymorph into a dragon. You can only polymorph into a beast. However, I realise this now because I've reread it. But you could polymorph into a giant crocodile.
That doesn't fly.
Okay, well, that's boring. Fine.
Is it enough that we could all ride it? Because if we could all ride it, you could make it fly.
Why not turn into something that can actually fly?
I mean, the obvious answer is giant eagle. That's the usual go-to.
Yeah, but they're never really a help, are they? They don't ever come when you need them.
They only come at the end of the movie.
You could polymorph into a giant space eel.
What can a space eel do?
Fly?
Space.
The final frontier.
We're thinking way too complicated. Maybe just polymorph into the giant eagle.
What
and
about
then
polymorphing into a giant triceratops?
that can't fly?
That's a really negative way of looking at it.
No. If you have what are they called? I forgot what they're called. Pterodactyl.
Unfortunately,
fine.
they don't seem to have a pterodactyl on here.
Shame.
Really? I wonder if they're a higher
What about
challenge rating.
what about a flying snake or a flying monkey
This is not Wizard of Oz.
or a giant
flying
canary?
monkey would be quite funny.
A giant canary. A giant canary would be so not suspicious. No one would attack a giant canary.
Fine, we'll do giant eagle. Will be boring.
Rude.
a manticore.
Can't.
Only drain 3 apparently. I don't know how big they are. They're lawful evil, but I guess it doesn't matter because you're changing into it.
Did you remember
They're
that?
not beasts.
Changed
They're
into
monstrosities.
One of us.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, they are. Yeah. It's annoying. I searched like a list for like beasts that can fly.
Sorry about that.
Oh, is that why we like can't be beholders?
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. I apologise about that.
Pegasus, though. What's that?
Make it size.
Celestial.
Pegasus.
Pegasus? No. Pegasus?
Pegasus. Pegasi. Maybe.
Peggy
Is it
Mitchell.
a celestial beast or just a beast? Yeah.
Where is these? There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, we'll go giant eagle. Go, go, go.
Alright. We are going to fly around to the back of the city and across the cliff. And on the way, I will let Ruka know that we're on our way.
If you think about it, if you fly high enough, everyone will just think, "Oh, look, an eagle." They won't think, "Ooh, that eagle looks a bit large."
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. We could just fly like a few miles up in the air, over and then down.
What could possibly go
That's what I
wrong?
was thinking
Yeah, we're
with
just
the
forgetting
dragon. But then I
physics.
thought of what you said, Vic, about it's going to seem suspicious, a creature just randomly landing in the middle of the city that these guys are attacking.
Yeah, if we come up from behind it, they won't even
And over
see us
the
go in,
wall.
hopefully.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I think so. So we stay far away from the army, but fly round, and then
And
up.
just high enough to go over the wall, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Got an
It looks
idea.
like you drew a Pokeball.
Dun, dun, dun,
Oh
dun,
my god, it is.
What's what?
Or a
Who's,
very happy Cyclops.
Yeah, love that.
what? What's happening? Oh,
Your
the
diagram.
diagram.
You confused him.
Yeah, the diagram does look a bit kind of. It's not a good drawing. I'm not good at drawing. Okay.
Didn't tell you what. No, sorry.
Did the job.
I meant it
Thanks.
looks like a Pokeball.
Thanks. That really bolsters my ego a bit. Thank you. You fly into the city. Make stealth checks for me, everyone. That's not who I wanted.
Does anyone have passed without a trace? She asks mentally. Don't answer that.
The answer's no, anyway.
Disadvantage still for me, I'm guessing.
Yeah, me too. I think maybe.
I'm not any help.
Dexterity, where are ye?
Won't even have a disadvantage. Ooh.
Oh, is that a disadvantage for me? No, it is. Fuck.
Balls.
No.
Did we all roll badly?
Oh, it's still a 15.
I did okay.
You did okay. Oh, well.
Still a
Alas,
15.
it's not still a 15, though, is it?
It's the natural 15.
Yeah, plus 14 for stealth.
Yeah, I'm a rogue.
Oh dear.
Okay. So, despite Giant Eagle Svard doing his best to not be noticed, he inadvertently lets out a very loud sort of eagle screech, which at some point seems to alert people to what's happening. And Sköld, Aqua, and Bryn sort of instinctively look down to just sort of check what the situation is, and all of you can quite clearly see on the ground, sort of, especially the dwarves and the elves, all pointing up at the eagle that's flying by. They don't seem to have noticed Vic, but they've noticed the other four. Oops. You managed to fly into the city without any hassle. However, you also notice while flying over that none of the three camps have any siege equipment. So it's not like they're withholding siege equipment and not bombarding. They just don't have any. They seem to have been set up for a while, though. This does seem to have been a very entrenched camp. You can see sort of regularly trodden paths being compacted down by dirt, like the dirt being compacted down.
Okay. So they might not attack. Maybe they're just staying back.
Starve them out, yeah.
Can
Yeah.
I?
We'll just hold them there, maybe. They don't need to necessarily kill us. Want to
Well,
prevent
that's
them
it.
from getting
Maybe they
out.
were sent with the numbers, hoping that they could just take the city, not realizing how defensive the city was.
Yeah.
Just
Can
stop.
I?
Eyes.
While
I've got
we
a
are
great idea.
flying, while we are flying, and I mean, yeah, we're trying to be stealthy. Obviously, I fail, so I'm going to try and use that to my advantage, which is just flavor, not an actual thing. I want to observe what I can see from as far up as we are. If I can see any, we're probably too far up to make out any particular people, but just any information I can gather from the 3 camps that I could use to our advantage. Can I see any formations? Can I see any sort of apprehension between the 3 groups to maybe, tug on the strings that Aqua has suggested? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Makes sense, but you're too high up to really notice anything like that. You can see like the fact that there are no siege weapons and stuff, but they don't have any formations. They're not formed up into an attacking force right now. They are just holding back in their camps, and you can just about see the dwarves doing their really rigorous patrolling, the elves doing their less than rigorous patrolling, and you still don't see anything on the Sverfneblin.
Okay.
So are siege weapons a thing though? They would be around.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are they called? Those doorbusters, for example? Or ladders?
Rams.
Rams. That's the thing.
Or trebuchets. The trebuchets exist.
Are those the giant things from Lord of the Rings that shoot things?
Catapult.
Well, they're from medieval times in general.
Catapults.
But yeah, like trebuchets, big catapults.
My only experience with medieval stuff is Lord of the Rings and the studies that I've done on that.
So I'm thinking, so obviously we need to talk to people when we get in and stuff, but does it look like there's no siege equipment inside the city either?
Say that again, sorry.
When we're flying over, do we see no siege equipment inside the city either to shoot back out?
Not in the city, no. In the city, all you can see are very tall buildings. Like, they seem to be very tall, but sort of, they're like sort of a modern skyscrapers in design, where they're relatively thin but mostly tall, and alleyways and streets being built around them with varying heights. And this city, going against the others of the dwarves that you've seen, seems to be built on one particular layer, not descending or ascending into anything in particular. And it's pretty flat. It's got, for a trading city, it's actually disconnected from its port. It does have a canal, but the canal is all dried up, and you can see that leads back out on the opposite side from where you were stood. It leads out and around the mountains down into where you imagine the port would be. Not the mountains, the cliff.
I wonder if we could, with help of maybe, again, we need to talk to people and see what the situation is, but I wonder if we could fabricate our own trebuchet inside the city.
Do you know how to build one? Plus, what
Right, there are
even is one?
engineers and stuff in there, maybe.
And
And
would we be able
like
to fire it in the city?
They shoot up and over, don't they?
They're more for shooting at walls rather than up and over.
Trebuchets?
Yeah.
It's a big catapult.
Yeah, but
Just shooting loads of stuff at their camps. That would upset them, wouldn't it?
yeah.
I
think
mean,
it'd probably
that
be better
one-
to shoot.
Get boiling oil in pots and pour it over the walls.
I guess it probably wouldn't do too much. You might be able to do something, but
Takes up a lot of
worst
space.
case- well, it's a big city. But we'll just speak
We
to
could-
some people when we get there and see what's going on.
the main gate, build a massive choke point to have them all funnel down one alleyway, and we could be there at the other end, just bombarding them with spells.
Let's see what they want us. Let's see what's going on inside the city first.
Yeah.
Find Ambrin and Rukan and whoever's in charge, I guess.
Need to know what we're working with.
I think you guys probably be the best to talk, because I'm guessing everyone here is going to be mainly dwarfish as well.
Yeah, well, we can vouch for your loyalty.
Got my passport somewhere.
I think that might be expired by now.
There's a bag of holding in it.
I'll just change the date on it, be fine.
It'll be fine. What could possibly go? I mean, it was still technically valid when the re-emergence happened, and surely there hasn't been like anybody doing administrative work since then. So, you
Oh
know.
no, it's the sewer. She so is keeping an eye on these dwarfs.
All right. As you descend into the city, are you alerting? Did you say you were alerting Ruken that you said that you're
Yeah,
here?
I would say that we are. I would say we're almost there. Don't be alarmed or something.
Okay. He replies, marvelous. Gives you general directions on where to land, and as you come down, you can see that there's this sort of bright light emanating from the courtyard that you've been told to land in. And that's actually quite annoyingly intense. It does kind of lead you down to where you've been told to go, and as you come down, you land, and Svard unpolymorphs, and ahead of you this sort of light actually reappears as a person, and it dims slightly, and you can see the general facial features of Ruken, but now he's dressed in almost pure white armor with a very pale blue cape, and he has a sort of short sword at his hip, and there's sort of very bright pinkish purple accentuation to his clothing, and he stands very serenely and a sort of soft smile on his face. My friends, it's good to see you again. And he steps forward.
A long time.
And kind of like places his hand on Vic's Vic's arm, and comes forwards to Sköld and then Aqua, and just does the same for all of you as a sort of soft greeting. And I believe, Bryn, you met him once?
No, I haven't. I've never met him.
She's just talked to him in her head.
Yeah, the last time we've seen him was at the house of the Valkyrie. That was when Nal was still there, and then he vanished with the Valkyrie, and we didn't know where they've gone. And a couple of weeks ago, I think Vic said, well, why don't we try and contact Ruken and see if he's still alive and if he can help us. I think when we were talking about trying to gather allies.
Okay. Bryn, it's good to finally meet you in person, face to face.
Good to meet you too. Good to see someone alive, willing to fight.
We've been doing a lot of that recently. Well, we have a lot to catch up on, I'm sure.
Yes, is there a place where we can debrief?
Indeed. Please come with me. We will go and find a place. We'll go and find some comfort and food.
How many people do we see around roughly?
In the general vicinity of where you are right now,
Yeah.
just Ruken. But when you were flying into the city, you did see the odd sort of few small groups of people milling around, and also, you saw maybe 100 people in total as you were flying around.
Mhm.
So you can infer that there are, a fairly decent amount of people here.
Well, I ask him outright. How many people do you have here? What like how many people does the city hold? Or well, how many people are still here, still alive?
At last count, we had about 1,000, but most of them are not fighters. I am currently leading the charge to defend the city, and I had to take over from Amber, and her power failed her, and she is critically ill and wounded. But we are doing what we can, and we hope to find a way out soon.
Okay. But to find a way out, then what's next?
Well, I was hoping you would offer some help with that. We were just planning on escaping the island and heading over to you.
We do have a place set up now, but well, ironically, we've come back to the island to see if we can re-establish over here.
You're bringing the fight to Asoa.
Maybe not directly just yet, but we can bolster our numbers. Then makes it a lot easier if we're set up here than to transport everybody overseas. Time comes that we need to make the push.
You can see him sort of processing the information in his head. He's kind of staring down at the ground. His head's like slowly nodding. I can get behind that. I do need to assist in getting any civilians and innocents out before the inevitable conclusion to the siege, but I will assist you in any way I can once we have achieved that goal.
Yeah, maybe the first step will be to set up some smaller outposts that may not be as well defended as this one, but not so much putting our eggs in one basket.
Indeed. Indeed. Very well. If you can assist me in coming up with a plan to remove the civilians from this city, then I will assist you in your eventual plan to reclaim the island itself.
Well,
Okay.
how much have you explored this city? Any secret tunnels that we could use to lead out that's not been destroyed?
Not that I'm aware of, no. Otherwise we would have found them already. Though we were hoping to carve a path through the canal and make it down to the docks and see if we can find a way out that way.
That would be the smartest choice, as we can have our ship at the docks, ready to pick everyone up. We would just need to find a good way of getting there without alerting the enemy.
We have a few benefits on our side, but now is not the time to talk about them. We must find shelter. Let's be comfortable when we discuss plans. Come. And he starts leading you away, down this way. Join with everybody gathered round a rather grand-looking bed in the middle of a bedroom of a grand manor house that Rukin and Ambrin seem to have taken residence in. Ambrin is lying in this bed, looking a bit worse for wear. She seems even more frail than when you last saw her. And, I mean, obviously this isn't a very good representation. She's not decked out in all armor and everything, but she's lying in the bed, like, she's very sunken, starting to look a bit, like, she's definitely starting to look her age. But when
She's getting on a bit.
she is, definitely. When she sees the three of you, Rukin, you can see, like, something of a smile cross her mouth. You're back at last. It's good to see you all again.
It's been a while. A lot has happened in that time.
Indeed. I am sorry that I am not much help. I would be up and fighting, but my strength is failing me.
Not everybody has to fight. Sometimes the knowledge is more than enough. You have first-hand experience with creatures, so any sort of information you can give us, any sort of help, doesn't have to be of the physical variety. More than we can ask for.
What would you like to know?
Well, I suppose the first step is to kind of figure out what happened since we departed, and try and get a bit of a more of a comprehensive timeline of what's happened, and then we can figure out where we need to go from there.
Well, since we last saw each other, Rukin and I went on a bit of reconnaissance. We found ourselves captured before the re-emergence, and were in the process of escaping. The re-emergence put us back a bit. I believe at one point you contacted Rukin while we were still prisoner, and we were desperate for escape. There wasn't much we could do, even me. My powers were failing me at this point.
Fortunately, we're also occupied with our own troubles and trying to get back together, and even when we were back together, a few elements stopping us from returning to the island until now.
Something strange happened while we were being held captive. You may notice that Rukin looks different. He
I've noticed.
was approached not too long ago, maybe a week or so, 2 weeks, 3, I don't know, 3 weeks, sometime recently. And it's, Rukin sort of steps forwards next to the bed, kind of lays his hand on Ambrin and takes over. I was approached by a being that I didn't know or had never heard of, and was offered a fresh start. I was offered new powers, a reset, the ability to escape our bondage and start making a difference and reclaiming the city. And I took it.
Do say that in times of great need and danger, at times people get approached by higher beings. Very lucky.
I was able to maintain my clandestine abilities, but also gained some more spiritual powers, which have come in handy more than once since this siege began and since I have required them. I don't even know really who it is I owe my powers to and who I am indebted to, but they are a great power, and they are newly risen in the world. I am able to almost control light and use it to my advantage. I no longer use darkness as a shield, I use light as a means to get through. I'm able to focus and control light in ways that I wasn't before, and it has come in handy already. I have no doubt that we will be able to demonstrate this to you in short.
It seems to me like perhaps others are taking notice of this event. I've seen my friend here, Aqua, be changed by higher beings, given a second chance as well. I myself have had contact with my deity. It's imbued me continuously as I went on this journey with greater powers and better clarity. Seems like we may be having more allies than we can immediately see.
This fills me with confidence. I think these allies, even if we're not aware of them, will help us build to victory.
We may need to leverage their power at a critical moment. How we do that, I don't know. Let's try and get as well accompanied with our newly brought powers till that time comes.
I agree. Like I was saying outside, our current ongoing plan that we're working towards is using the canal as a means to escape. But we just haven't worked out how we're going to be able to do that.
So what's the main problem?
The main problem is the canal is dry and would require us to pass through the lines of the drow to escape.
How many are there?
Somewhere up to about 700 that we've managed to count.
So the direct route isn't an option. Would it be possible to, where's the lava is what caused the canal to dry up.
We think that they've dammed the canal and just stopped the flow. It's I'm not 100% clued into how it works. It's dwarven in design. You might have more success than me at figuring out the ins and outs of its intricacies, but it seems to be it seems to work from a system that can be stopped, like stops the water entirely from just being. It's like the canal has been drained, not just dammed. But we've not been able to get out there to properly investigate.
So that's our next step then. See if we can undo this damming and draining, whatever machinations may caused it. And if we can do that, maybe we can flush out the drow and forge a path through to safety.
We also have the issue of the siege itself.
How long?
Well, from best guess, we've got enough food to last us months. But they don't seem to be making any moves to attack, storm, or just make any progress. They're just sat silently, waiting. They can't possibly want to can't possibly want to starve us out.
I was thinking. You're self-sufficient, or do you require supply lines?
We're not necessarily self-sufficient, but we've been able to just about keep ourselves well supplied up until now, at least.
Yes, I wonder if they're just waiting on you to die out by a matter of attrition, or for you to open the gates in order to break that stronghold.
Or maybe just keep busy or preoccupied. How many people here can fight?
We're talking no more than 3 dozen. Varying
So,
ability.
More than 900 people need to be evacuated then.
Yes, sadly. We could make a...
Guys, I think I've improved my idea / plan. If
Take
we
much
go
but
to the so-called dam and are able to make the water flow again, just before we make it flow, we do what I thought of. Have Bryn message one of the other captains, maybe the crazy army, tell them that the High Noons want rid of them. They start fighting among themselves. The water flows as if it's a deceit to all of them, as they were trying to get rid of the drow. And we can use the whole confusion to get everyone to escape.
okay, well, potentially, but that relies on the fact that we'd have to convince even the less intelligent that the voice they are hearing is of someone important.
Okay, maybe we can talk to... what were they? The high evil ones? Well, the smarter ones, and say that the crazy people are messing with the dam to get rid of the drow, and they're next. And then
But
when
I'm
the flood
worried.
comes to get rid of the drow, they have no choice but to believe.
What I'm worried about is where are the Swerve Neblins?
Fair point.
They are underground beings, aren't they?
tunnels.
What if
Well,
they
they would
are?
have dug in by now.
They might have, they might have dug tunnels. They might have been able to set up underground tunnels for themselves, for their movement. I'm worried that we can't see them. I'm worried that we can't keep tabs on them.
True. An unknown. Okay, well, from what I can see, the only real threat that we have from the siege at the moment, short term, is those Snurf Nevlins. Due to the fact that we don't know where they are, the others are out there and they don't have any siege weaponry, so they don't look like they're going to attack soon. So that should be one of our priorities, find out where they are. Second priority should be getting that water flowing in one way or another in preparation to escort people out of the city. Even if we don't turn it on straight away and we just know and figure out how to do it, step forward.
Svad has been sat quietly this whole time, just on this table, like sort of leaning on this table, thinking to himself. I've heard of these mechanisms. They're not very common anymore, but they used to be. If we can find the release valves and actually start the process of refilling the canal, then as long as we can either hold it off from an attack long enough for the canal to refill, or we draw enough of them away so that the majority of the civilians can escape, that might work.
Where would this be that? Would you have to leave the city to do this?
Well, there's 3 potential options. It could be somewhere in the city. It could be somewhere down by the harbour. Or it could be near the middle, where, if I'm remembering correctly, these kind of systems are basically a huge mechanism that releases a reservoir underground that would seep up and into the canal and refill slowly. It takes time, it's not an immediate thing. But the water almost rises from the ground, and it literally looks like the water is growing from the ground as it refills. So that somewhere halfway along the canal there could be a sort of an outhouse, almost literally just a small building that's not very well defended, that would have the mechanism. It would definitely be worth going to the main intake part of the canal in the city, seeing if it's there, or maybe there's more than one. Maybe we are lucky, maybe we can do it from the city even though it was probably emptied from outside the city. We would have to trust to hope and chance, though.
And would there be someone in this, a civilian or something in the city that would know?
Possibly. We might get lucky on this too. Maybe there are civilians who worked the docks and actual traders who did some of the work. Maybe they know how to run it. I can't honestly say myself. I have never been here, but I understand the basics of how it works.
Okay. Well, maybe we. Yeah. Okay. Can we get someone like Rukin? Can you get someone to go around the civilians and see if anyone knows how it works, the canal, and then we know where to go from then. from there?
We could do that. We can definitely have people do some questioning.
Yeah, we don't need anyone to come with us necessarily. Just need to know where to go and how to activate it easily. And if we can do it from the city, the better.
Indeed. And if we can't do it from the city?
Then we'll go and do it when we need to do it, I guess.
All right. Rukin steps and leaves. You can hear the footsteps leave the room, and he goes off to find someone to go and ask some questions. Svart just kind of goes back to thinking. I'm willing to go out, and if we need to, I'm willing to leave the city and find wherever the mechanisms are to release the water. It's just knowing what might happen afterwards doesn't fill me with much in the way of enthusiasm.
We release it and then break it so they can't turn it off.
That would work. And then if they decide to attack us, we would be facing wave upon wave potentially of enemies, or if they decide instead to then attack the city, we are out of the city to help defend that. There's pros and cons to this. I wish to help. I'm just unwilling to put myself in a situation that we wouldn't be able to escape from. I'm sure you understand.
Bryn, how long would it take you to set up a teleportation spot in this city?
Me? Sorry. Me?
Yes, Bryn, how long would it
A
take you
year.
to set up a teleportation? Okay, we don't have that time.
Well,
don't
no.
have that
Do
option.
you mean as in like permanently, or just as a one-off?
More as if we can get back here for an emergency. So yeah,
No,
one off.
that's not a thing. That we need the teleport spell for that. I can only teleport to fixed teleportation circles that I know of. And one of the only ones that I know of is in Oldcliff.
Okay, well, Rukin, are there any in the city?
I don't think so. No, he's not even here.
Is he not? Or did he go away? Oh.
He's left. He's gone to find someone.
Okay. So they got months of food. And I was thinking this before, but I thought, I don't know what the time crunch is. We could theoretically do a teleportation spell once a day, but how many people could get through it once?
Me and 8 other people.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Does it have to be you?
I think so.
I thought you just
I'm-
cast it on the ground for 6 seconds, and then people can just go through it. That's my spell knowledge, not Vix, obviously.
I'm gonna cast it and then take away the spell slot again because I didn't actually cast it.
Remains on the floor to next turn. Any creature that goes in. So it'd be open for 6 seconds, and as many people go into the teleportation that could get in there within 6 seconds.
You're thinking just pushing half the town in.
Well, no, it wouldn't be half the time, but it would be.
I mean,
It's
if you could
just-
do it once a day, if you could
It would-
get.
I can do it more than once a day.
Oh, that's 5th level.
I-
Okay.
5th level, I have 2 5th level spells and a 6th level spell, so I can do it 3 times.
And even if you could only get 50 people through at a time, That might be too many, but I don't know if it's 6 seconds. Step in, 6 seconds of people walking into a 10-foot circle.
Does the spell? You draw. Remains open until the end of the next turn. Any creature that enters instantly appears within 5 feet of a destination in a circle. Okay, so you would have. Let's mark this out. So, for point of reference, you'd have a circle this big, basically.
Mhm.
Like logistically, you know, there's all of these boxes you can see here, but it instantly teleports you. So, if you've got like 100 people around, all just stepping in, as soon as they touch it, as soon as they step into the circle, they are teleported away to Aldencliff, for example, and then are within the nearest unoccupied space of the teleportation circle at the other end. So
I mean,
theoretically, yes, it would work.
very logistically, you would have to have several rows of people around the circle running into the circle and then keep running once they're on the other side. That way you could get maybe not 100 people, but you could get maybe 30, 40 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be chaos, but
So you could do it in
the
nine
best way to get
days.
many people.
7 to 9 days, depending how efficient.
If we can get 100 people per day, 3 times, then yeah, I could get it in 9 days. In 9 to 10 days.
And they got enough food, then they get out, and then we don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
I won't be
people
very
that are
happy in
left can
Aldencliff,
last
but
longer.
they can send them from Aldencliff down to Compass anyway. That's a lot of people, but
They would be able to also tell the outside world what's happening here and maybe send help.
I think
Maybe
this.
Sorry, go on. No, you go.
Oh. I mean, I think it might be a bit of a sneaky way around it to get the innocent people out, but they want to get to the other place anyway, right? They want to get out of here to safety on the other island, so it also saves the journey. Because how are we going to get 1,000 people across the sea
Yeah, I don't think the boat
in one boat?
will hold 1,000 people.
So I think it would probably make sense, and then we can fly back out or whatever, and then they don't even know we're gone necessarily, and these guys there's like 700 unholy alliance are standing there doing absolutely nothing, and we can move on to do something more impactful afterwards.
I'm having to do some pretty deep reading here. The question has been asked before.
How many people can you teleport at a time in a teleportation cycle?
Everyone is giving me different answers. I'd say about, if it's 6 seconds, if we say 10 people per second, 60 at most.
If
Per
everyone is
casting.
lined up, if everyone is lined up, if everyone is running towards the circle, yeah.
If you get 60, that's not right. Hang on. If I can work out how to do circles, again, because I'm using the wrong thing, that's why. If you can figure out how to get sort of, let's say 20 feet of people, right? On top of the other people, on top of the other thing. So if you had 60 people in this outer square, and that would be 10 feet to the circle. So they've got to run 10 feet, and then they would make it in time. Because you could probably stagger 30, exactly. You could probably stagger 30 people in one row and then 30 people behind that, and have them run in. Like the logistics of it that way isn't important necessarily. It's just that if you've got 10 people running in it every second, then you could probably achieve it. So we'll say 60.
Yeah, and you can do it 3 times a day, 180.
So it'd still take like 8 days,
5
say.
days, maybe.
5-6 days.
5 times 180 is what, like 900?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 5 days. 5 days, maybe 6 if we want to have some leeway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the safest way, because even if we do get the water up, we have to sail them through the canal, which is still guarded by a drow either side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be tough.
This way we lose no people, and yeah. You guys down for it? Was that as Ambrin? Do you think that sounds good?
I think that sounds good to me. I'm sorry
You can
that
go too.
I would be very reluctant to leave my home.
We're all gonna leave this place anyway. I don't know if you'd be able to go like on foot the way, or fly around out of this place like we will after everyone's teleported out.
Give me some time to think on it.
Okay. Well, are we down for this as an idea? I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it's the lowest risk option, as you say.
Yeah. Gives us 5 or 6 days of doing that. I don't know how they'd know we were doing it, unless they had spies in here somewhere.
I mean, some of us, you, maybe Sköld and Vic, we could go to the wall and just peek over, see what the actual armies look like.
Yeah, we could. But what we're going to do after, so this works and everyone gets out. I guess we teleport the fighters out as well, and then we just fly back out. And where we headed after this? I know it's thinking a bit far ahead, but
I feel like we should leave a surprise, booby trap the whole city, make it explode.
Aim to use up such a good resource.
I mean, if it gets rid of 3 armies at once, one city is worth it.
maybe, but they still want to live in this place after
Whoops.
you get rid of the summer, yeah. A lot of towns might have been destroyed by the lava.
Yeah.
But we could still try the whole whisper into their ear as maybe a long shot, and if they can start killing themselves as well, that would just be icing on the cake.
I mean, even if it just halves their numbers before they realise their senses, that's still a bonus for us.
Do that during one of the days, maybe.
Pick a random day.
Ooh. Wild's gearing up.
What?
What?
What did you say?
Svard's gearing up with his.
Oh yeah, I've got his character sheet, and I'm just like nothing is equipped, so I'm just trying to make it all work. That's fine.
Is that Holy Avenger he's got there?
No, no, it's not.
No, oh, never mind.
It's not what he's got.
In that case, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Suddenly, Vicky's not interested.
Oh, there's one around. I'm not. It's not a paladin, so I don't think I can equip it.
Feels bad, man.
Could have been.
what could have been. Eventually, you hear Ruken's footsteps return and he comes back. I have sent word for anybody who has knowledge of the canals.
Well, we discussed that maybe we'd be able to teleport friendlies out, the civilians out. So Oldencliff.
That would be ideal.
Bryn can teleport 3 times. Well, 3 times a day. She goes through the spell, and
If we
we
max
roughly
min-max
think,
it.
yeah, like 180 roughly people a day. Maybe we could teleport out.
Okay.
So maybe the
could have
water thing won't really matter.
Could have a backup plan though, just in case something else.
Indeed.
Oh, and what if there are spies in the town somehow? If we maintain, I don't know, that we're trying to do something with the water, maybe that will. I don't know.
What if we're just
Intentional.
teleporting people and we like openly tell them that spies will get through? So that's not good. We would need a way to figure out who's a spy and who's not.
If we are able to plan ahead, I have a spell that compels people to tell the truth.
I know that spell.
We
My
can...
modem friend here has it as well.
Interesting.
I have it too. A similar spell anyway.
In that,
Oh, so we could do that.
we could
before they go through.
indeed, we could require a pledge from anybody who passes through that they
That
would
sounds pretty good.
uphold and return something that would potentially indicate that they are not true, that they are false, and that we cannot trust them.
Well, as it's something that's Bryn will be doing as a teleportation spell, I shall leave my modem in your guys' hand to help you with this, so you can distinguish who's telling the truth and who's not.
Okay. Cool. Interesting. We can confer on this. I believe we could organize it for beginning tomorrow. We can gather as many people as we can, explain the situation, get them to pledge something. We can spend some time thinking of how to word the pledge so that we can guarantee that they are being truthful. And then...
Well, couldn't we just ask them what colour their t-shirt is?
No.
No, that's too simple.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. They don't have to. Yeah.
It would
They
have
don't
to be
have
something
to.
that they have to answer, something
Yeah.
that they pledge to us and would show falsehoods if they weren't willing to reply.
Okay, I shall leave that to you guys.
Do you could say something like, you pledge your allegiance to
The death of a sower.
Yeah.
Yes, something like that. Pledge to good and to the downfall and reclamation, the downfall of Asoa and the reclamation of Karasgard. Something that...
Go on.
No, you carry on.
I don't want to tie them to the island if they don't want to. So just
Well,
the
actually,
downfall of Ysoa, I think would be enough.
Yeah, and correct me, I think I've been privy to this spell before. Would you know if someone was trying to resist the spell?
I can confirm.
So we can inform people not
yes.
to try to resist it? if they do resist it as well, then we know that they're probably.
Well, we can tell if they're not being straightforward and trying to evade the answer.
Yeah.
So if we ask a straightforward, straight question and ask them, "Are you a spy for a SOA?" for example, and they decide not to answer, or they decide to evade the question, then we know that they
Yeah.
are trying to
But
not
if
tell
they
the truth.
resist the spell, they could still lie, right? But you would know that they've.
Oh, I feel like
resisted.
we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had this exact discussion before, where we don't know whether, methodically speaking, they made the save or not.
I think we would know. Yeah, you do know. I think doesn't the spell say you know?
It's a creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn starts its turn there, or starts its turn there, must make a charisma save. On a failed save, the creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. So, because I think when we had that discussion, because I do remember it, it was about someone doing it on you. I think it was an NPC doing it on you, and so you were trying to decide whether they knew you were letting them succeed or like fail.
Oh yeah, and whether we could, if we succeeded, whether we could still lie. So whether they knew
about-
that we were lying or not.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an idea. We have whoever is doing the zone of truth as like a door person, letting the people through to be questioned. So therefore, they have to at least wait in the zone of truth for a turn, go through a door, and then wait another turn. So then they technically have to spend a couple turns in the zone of truth.
They know the spell's there. They're aware of the spell and can avoid. That's why they can avoid answering the questions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like what he's trying to say is that you have to word the question and like oath or sort of thing that they have to speak in such a way that if they refuse to answer, it's a sign of guilt.
Yeah, we can also tell them that they can't they shouldn't resist the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Don't try to resist the spell, otherwise that would also be a sign of suspicion.
resistance to it, like resistant. Basically, if they if they don't automatically fail their saving throw, to the point where, you know, if they don't let it happen, and then if they do, they don't speak an answer, it'll be considered a fail. It'll be considered them as traitors.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I failed the sailing throw and tried to lie, I lost this eye. So, I don't know what your zone of truths do, but the one I was in was hurtful.
We wouldn't try to hide anyone. Yeah.
This is pretty solid. We find out if they're truthful and they can teleport them, and I'm guessing it's a lot of a lower spell for the truth thing anyway, so we can do a lot more of them if we need to, but it lasts like 10 minutes, isn't it, or something?
10 minutes, yeah. It's a 15-foot sphere, so you've got basically a 15-foot circle of radius.
Yeah.
So like this much. And
unfortunately, my modem can only do a minute of zone of truth.
yeah, but Rukin can cast it. I'm pretty sure Sköld can cast it.
I can cast it too, but I don't know if it's a concentration spell.
It's not.
It's not, no.
instantaneous.
Okay.
So
We could also do that beforehand, like we could do it all in one day.
So like my thinking is basically, like this is sort of the way it came to me, was you basically gather like the day's participants, like the people you are planning to take today, have them in a courtyard and have them go through zones, or put plenty of zones up so that you have them basically recite it there and then.
Actually, yeah.
And go
If,
through.
like, Bryn put one up, my modem put one up, would then they have to do different roles for the separate zones?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be rolling. If they have to roll, then they're guilty.
Yeah, basically that's my thinking. Literally, if they resist to the point where they don't automatically fail, and if they do, so yeah, basically anything suspicious is just automatic. Sorry, you're not coming.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, yes, that makes sense. So 3 times a day, gather 60 people.
Should we
Zone of
rather
truth.
have it as an area of the people are not coming to, sorry, you're not available for this time slot, come back tomorrow and try again? So therefore they're not as suspicious as we're trying to figure them out.
Oh no, I feel like it is purely. It should be simple in that if we have any suspicion about you, then we're not taking you.
Because
Well-
that feels like they could start something which could incur a fight or some innocents getting killed, and I'd rather not.
They need to die. Simple
But
as.
as well, also, I mean, at this point, I feel like I'm allowed in this conversation because I have stakes. If they do then start to do an uprising and start to have make attacks on places, then you're basically they're just skipping the queue, skipping a few days and revealing themselves early. So what were you going to do with the people you were leaving behind anyway? You know, because you're not going anywhere, so you'd still have to deal with them. If they
That's true, but we wouldn't have innocent lives around to worry about while dealing with them.
Yeah, we pick randomly as well. It won't be like they can wait to the end and do stuff. Just pick randomly, and then put me in another room, and then if any fails, just send him through that door.
But yeah, you're a 100th
Got no spells to contribute, so I can
civilian.
just arrest them
Hmm.
in
I'm
the
a
other
civilian
room.
arrest.
You've been selected in a random prize draw. Go through to this door.
What's that sword you got there?
Is that a sword in your pocket? You're happy to see me.
Yeah,
Well,
we all be in a room and we all do something when someone new enters.
well, we got like loads of. We could maybe like for a zone of truth the guards first, the ones who can fight, just to make sure they're on side, and they can also arrest people who need be. You know,
Yeah.
if any of the guards are dodgy, we want them gone first.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. The more help we can actually get and trust would benefit us in the long run.
They can file people around. They can arrest some people. I don't really want to kill. Even if
And
they are
we know they can
people.
fight, so we can help them if anything does happen.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. That's pretty good. We can start that tomorrow then. But
Yeah.
we won't properly broadcast that we're going to teleport people out. So we can just say we're trying to help get people out, maybe, and then
You don't need to
Yeah,
give
time.
away the whole plan until literally so you could put like the teleportation circle in this building and do the zone of truth thing on the other side of the city, you know.
I mean, does
You could separate the
who
two
is
things.
the voice of like the city at the moment? Is it Rukin?
It would be Rukin and Ambrin, yeah.
Could they say that a mysterious hero, not heroes, just a hero, which would be Bryn at the time, has come and has given us a way out with teleportation, and that way then they wouldn't suspect the whole navigators.
I wouldn't mention the teleportation at all.
Well, okay, maybe not teleportation, but they found a way out. We just need
Yeah.
to process people to get out.
Yeah, and we could only do a certain amount per day. Blah blah blah. It's the safe way out.
I mean, rather telling them a certain amount, just say we can do so many before the sun sets, and then
Well,
I don't know. When it comes
It's
to
also
the
a
end of
certain
it,
amount.
we'll just say there was a mistake or something went wrong or something.
nothing went wrong. We don't need to. Nothing goes wrong.
We
It'll be
need to
fine.
make it as less. We're actually getting people out and more just, I don't know, a common courtesy sort of thing, so people aren't going to get suspicious.
Just say we can sneak out a certain amount of people today without the army up front noticing. That's all we need to really tell them, and it's safe.
That works.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So we could maybe even zone the truth to guards tonight, today, just to
I
make sure
mean-
they're all on side, and then from tomorrow start
You
truthing
would
and
be the
teleporting
best
people.
for knowing what a guard would tell us, so I could get my modem to send a truth near you while you go talk to the guards.
I could do. I mean, we could just say, are you loyal to the city, and are you part of the Soa's plan? That could be the simple question.
I mean, yeah, I'm happy to do that with you if you want to do that, and
Yeah.
whether Bryn or Sköld wants to join us or they want to do something else before the night ends.
Yeah.
Well, you can always come with if you need support, but don't want to overly burden you.
If it's a guard at a time, I don't think we're going to get into trouble if one of them is against us.
I think
Go on.
we should probably.
It's
I mean, we're gonna
me.
probably do a few at a time, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you're not going to do it a guard at a time. There's only so many spells you can cast.
Yeah.
If you
I
have
think you said 30, about 3 dozen, right?
3 dozen,
Guards.
yeah. I mean, there's
So-
probably about 41. There would be about 41 fighting people in the city, including the 5 of you. That includes Svard, obviously.
Yeah. So if we could maybe do like roughly 10.
And if Rukin comes
mean-
with you, that's 2 people that can cast it.
Yeah.
Rukin
so we could do
can with
10
us,
at a
that makes
time.
sense.
Plus, not all going to be in the same spot of the city, are they? So we might have to go around and find them.
Bryn can also cast it. That's 3 people. You could split it up into
Yeah.
like a group of dozen at a time.
Go around the group. We probably won't get unlucky, but if we did go,
Maybe,
and there was
yeah,
like
we
10
start at
guards. They're all
separate areas
bad.
and meet up in the middle.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe there's no one that's bad. But we'll be safe. I feel like we could in the rest of the day we've got left. If there's, well, we sailed, but not time we turned up. If it was 3 hours, then probably got a bit more travel time. A few hours left of the day, maybe. I don't know.
I think we got time to do the guards before tonight.
Yeah. Get them all done, then we know what we're working with.
Okay.
Before... I forgot the Valkyrie's name.
Ambrin.
Ambrim.
Ambrin. Before we go, Ambrin, is there any chance, and I know you can say no because I don't want to push you, is there any chance you're able to connect Bryn with me, Vic, and Sköld in the ability to talk?
I will build up the strength and see if I can do it tomorrow.
Okay. I will be in your debt if you can.
Bryn, not Bryn, Ambrin, not Bryn, Bryn starts drifting off to sleep.
You bore her.
She's old, okay?
Oh. Right. Well, let's let her sleep, and why don't we find somewhere to rest for the? Well, we'll go deal with the guards
Guards.
then.
Yeah.
I'll just labour walking out.
I want to explore the map, man.
Go deal with the guards tonight, and then find somewhere to rest, and then from tomorrow, we won't use the word teleport in front of people. We'll
Secret
Translocate.
passage out of here?
That also doesn't help much.
we'll
Start to arrange.
direct people out of here.
Yeah.
We found a path through the cliff to a boat.
It's all about words used instead of transport, so teleport.
That's how we got here. We got here by boat. Technically, we're not lying.
Just say we're making plans to evacuate.
Yeah. Ooh. There you go.
Okay. Any idea where you'd like to gather the guards to do the questioning?
A secret room, I would say. Well, secret room, a secluded room where not everyone can see.
They have a
I was gonna say,
barracks.
most of the guards would be already at barracks. So if we can draw them all to the barracks.
Okay.
Without them, we're on patrol on the walls and stuff, so we can just go around till we gather 10 and then do 8 maybe. Do 4 lots of 8. Wait, maths? Yeah. No.
4 lots of 8.
9.
That'd be 32.
36 is 4 lots of 9.
4 lots of
Yeah.
9, yeah.
Well, we get between 8 and 10 per time because we can't probably guarantee 9.
Like, do you not think we've got enough? We've got 7. No. We have to have 9.
Yeah, we'll do like 4 batches or whatever. Roughly.
Okay.
And then just as we go around, grab a few, take them to like a secluded room, house, building somewhere, and then do
Okay.
it there. And Rook will be with us, so they know Rukan, right? So
Yeah. So you're not
Push.
looking like just complete strangers that have broken in and just saying, "Hello, guards. Follow me."
yes.
Totally trustworthy. Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Don't resist my spells.
Yes, trust me. I'm just going to cast a spell on you. Literally. Right. Please hold. 2 seconds. Not Nell. I really need to remove Nell from the player characters folder.
Oh my God, she's back.
Again.
I've lost count of how many times I've dragged Nell onto a map and then been like, wait a minute.
Hold up.
It's an imposter. And then we can just have a bunch of like faceless people. Faceless guards. Sorry, I should probably drag you onto the map, shouldn't I? Damn it. I lost the map. I'm currently gathering the guards. Please hold. That's not the right thing. How many is that? 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That's 9, right? Yeah. Okay, so your zone of truthing, right?
Well, who wants to zone of truth first?
Why have I suddenly gone to metric? Metric? Why is it in meters?
To the superior system.
Yes, but...
I mean, I'm happy for...
I don't like it.
Welcome to 1970s UK.
No!
Where we went from imperial to metric. This is exactly what happened.
It's just decided on a whim. It's like, you know what? Get wrecked. We're doing meters now.
That's the government for you.
Government! I can't even remember how to change it. Anyway, that's roughly the size of the thing that we're doing. It's really thrown me. Zone of truth. Oh my god. Just to clarify, I'll actually cast a spell. And we'll see.
Gather around.
Oh, I was wrong. Apparently, zone of truth is this much.
Hey, up. Well, that's
I
Careful
feel
now.
like we could do way more than 9 people in this.
get all 18 or 18
Oh,
at a
it's done.
time, maybe.
It's done 15-meter radius.
Yeah. Not 15
Rather than
feet.
15 foot, though. I think.
Oh, it's
We can bunch them all in. They're all
For
in.
now,
It's
for
fine.
now, it's fine. It's fine.
They're all in.
They're all in. They're all in. They're all in.
So we'd advise them all that we're gonna get Rukan to help with the explaining. That we need to confirm that everyone is loyal. Just don't resist the spell.
Mhm.
We're just gonna ask question. Confirm everyone is Yeah, loyal.
Okay. From a basic sort of looking over the guards thing before anybody says anything, none of them look Drow, Duergar, or Sverfneblin like. They look most of them are dwarves. There's one human in this group, and he's quite clearly a little bit out of his depth, but is here. And they all are basically looking at Ruken more than you guys, just because he knows who they know who he is. But yeah, as Ruken starts talking and starts explaining that it's basically a test of loyalty, they all kind of straighten up a little bit, backs go straight, and when Ruken casts the Zone of Truth, excuse me, what would you like him to actually say?
We'll confirm they won't resist first.
Okay.
And if any of them do, let us know. What question? Like, are you here to help the innocents in the city, or are you working against them? Are you working for your Sower?
Okay.
Is that right? Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. Nobody seems to be resisting. Everybody answers just simply, yes, we're working for the downfall of the Sower, or something to that effect. In this batch, nobody resists.
Cool.
How can we test if it's working?
You would imagine that Ruken would tell you.
Still.
The batch one's good. And we'll I guess we'll make a note of who was here, so we don't gather up the same ones again.
Yeah, go around, collect all then. Actually, no. Let someone else collect their names, because I wouldn't be able to spell them.
Yeah, because you can't write.
Yep. I was like, I'll do that, and then realised I forgot how to write again, so... someone else can do that.
Then we'll just do this 3 more times.
Okay. Please be aware, I'm not giving you 36 names.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I do have things I would like to do at some point in the next week. But the first 2 groups go by without a hitch. Ruken casts a spell, he explains the situation to them, and everybody responds as you would expect. Bryn, as we come into the 3rd group, while they're all gathered up, you see that one person hangs back slightly from the group while the rest are... Okay, this is not working.
I don't actually see the group, but
What do you mean?
I don't see anyone.
Yathina? Really? What?
Yeah, there's no one there for me. I see it on the observer, but on my screen there's no one there.
Is that the same for everyone?
I see him.
I see everything.
Okay. Yathina, reload.
Maybe she hasn't got vision.
Clicking on her tells me she's fine. And she's got vision. Reload your browser, Yathina.
Yep.
Well, she's obviously telling the truth. She's inside the zone of truth.
Exactly. You know, she's not lying.
Guess she can't be like...
Could you imagine?
Actually extends to 15 feet from the stream, so...
Like, continue, but I can see it on the top.
I can't now get rid of your token configuration, so cool. One person is stood back from the group, this person here. And something is off about him. Are you able to roll?
Oh yeah, I'm not back in.
Okay. Oh dear. We're going to reload. We've reloaded. We're working. We're working. Seems to be working.
I'm working here.
Okay, I'm back.
I'm Christopher working here. Roll a insight check for me.
It's alright.
22. Bloody hell, you rolled an 8. Something about this one just seems off, just generally. He isn't showing signs of worry, like he's not sweating or anything, but the fact that everyone else is kind of huddled up in the group and he's the only one stepped away, and it just, something also seems just generally off. Roll an Arcana check, please.
Corner isn't as high as the rest of it.
Oh no. Look at that, was an actually bad roll for you. Yeah, something just seems off, but you can't tell.
I do point him out to. I point him out to Vic.
Okay.
And say, just keep an eye on that one. I'm not sure about him. He's acting a little bit weird.
I'll just move around to the side a little bit, not making it obvious I'm looking at him, but just spreading out a little bit.
Okay. When it comes to Rukin casting the spell and asking them to profess their loyalty, his attention is automatically drawn to the one that you were already kind of keeping an eye on. And his eyes lock onto him. You, at the back, explain. And there is a few seconds of a sort of blank look on his face, and then a sort of resigned shrug, and the body grows and expands, and it grows to about the same height as Vic when he uses Giant's Might.
I do it in tandem as he starts growing.
Okay. So you start growing too, and
Get bigger.
the skin darkens from a sort of pale dwarfish palette that you would kind of expect to see from a mountain dwarf into a sort of deep purple, and it's actually a really pretty color, but definitely not something you would see from a native of like somewhere that isn't the Underdark. It's difficult to tell whether this is a dwarf or if this is some other creature that sort of would associate with dwarves. But it just keeps growing and growing. Eventually gets to about 12, 13 feet tall and is proportioned in such a way that it is just pure bulk. It's taking up most of this space here. I haven't got a mini for it right now, but because I couldn't find one. But it's sort of filling this rough space here. It's big. And just claws grow from the ends of the fingers, and it just seems to start drooling. And it roars, and it takes a swipe at the guards in front of it that haven't quite noticed what's happening yet. And they're all flung off in this direction. Not on top of each other, though. and knocked prone.
I'll be jumping in whenever you let me. I'll be jumping in.
Okay. Oh,
I
'cause
mean,
it's all
how
the
many
same
of
one.
us would have noticed this to have
Oh,
seen what was going on?
You're literally all watching this.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Like you're watching this because you're facing that way anyway. The guards were just a little bit slow. And as it sort of seems to finish transforming and wax those guards off to the side, we're going to end the session there for today, and we'll pick this up next week.
Nice.
Vic, make sure you cast your Giant's Might, but also if there's what you wanted to do something else, didn't you? What did you want to do?
Jump in and start swinging whenever you want me, when you let me to.
Okay, cool.
So that was it, really. So. I did cast it, but it didn't make me big. But it is there.
Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It stopped doing that recently.
All right. Oh, okay, I lied. I get an extra Giant's Might at level 13, so I can go. That was better. Okay, I got something. Just realised I had
Do they
5 charges
stack?
No.
No, you can't become Vic. You could become huge Vic.
I do get to become bigger. At
Eventually.
level, I think it's 15, maybe. I think I can go to giant instead of just large.
Oh my god.
I say just.
I feel that's what we need to get you before we end.
Sköld, your hammer would finally come in useful. Right. Well, we'll pick this up next week, and we'll see how you cope with this betrayal. Good job, guys. You didn't die. And we're on the path to reclaiming Karasgard for the dwarves, which is very exciting. Yeah, this episode will be up on YouTube by Friday, all being well. And come back next week for the next episode, I guess. I don't think we've got anything else planned, so it will just be that. Feel free to join the Discord if you want to chat about D&D or the game or in general. Don't forget to follow if you haven't, and all that content creator jazz. And yeah, we'll see you next week, I guess. Have a good week. Potentially, all being well. You're not going anywhere next week, are you, Rob? You're not busy, are you?
There might be Island calling.
Robather, don't do this to me.
We'll see. Nothing's confirmed yet. That doesn't mean anything, though.
Oh, how much of a shame it is Sköld got mugged by the shapeshifter.
Weird that. Honestly, it was a tragedy.
All off screen.
No worries. We'll think of something. We'll work around it. Don't you worry. Anyway, yeah, we'll be back. Whether Rob's back, we'll see. But don't worry. But yeah, I hope you all have a good week. We appreciate you hanging out with us and just listening to us play D&D. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Are we raiding anyone, Yathina?
No.
Cool. We'll see you next week, guys. Goodbye.